Hey everybody, welcome to the show today. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so today we are talking about something exceptionally important, actually. It's about excuses. It's about being a victim and about playing with excuses too much. How many of us are doing that? How many of us are giving up and using excuses as our reason to give up? Do you always have that? You know what? Because the ability to follow through on one's goals and aspirations is very difficult. And so we often come up with excuses. Some people maybe are saying, you know, the environment is not allowing me, the society is not allowing, or, I'm too old now, so they're not hiring. Whatever excuse you are giving, it's BS. It's just an excuse, and it's time for you to change. So let's talk about that today, because the only factor between the stagnation and success is really you. You're the one who's stopping it. So let's change that starting today. Talk about this, and I thank everybody for joining me right now. Whoever is joining me, thank you. You guys are super awesome. So let's talk. So excuses can manifest in self-doubt. They can manifest in fear of failure. They can manifest in the comforting allure of procrastination. It shows up in many different ways. Now it's time for you to start to reclaim your potential, your power, and your self-esteem, and start getting rid of those excuses, right? So excuses, they're basically the barrier. They're a barrier to the progress, and they suddenly infiltrate your mindset. And once you start allowing excuses in, they skyrocket. They just roll and roll. Once you allow one excuse, there's another excuse. So perhaps you're saying stuff like, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'm just waiting for the right time, or whatever. These perpetual excuses, these postponements, they breed mediocrity, and they stifle your creative spirit, and they stifle your success. Some of the common things that we hear from people are that they have no time. How do you not have time for your future? I don't know. But a lot of people are saying they don't have time. They find it difficult to, focus. We just had a client come in today who, who's becoming a client. They were talking to me today about how they don't have time for a 3-hour session that's going to change their entire life. How do you not have time for something that's going to change your whole life? Well, they don't have time because this person's issue is overthinking and procrastination. Therefore, they're going to make sure they don't find the time for these sorts of things. And that's kind of what we do. We self-sabotage ourselves, right? The other thing is fear of failure. Maybe you're fearing that you may or may not fail, or even fear of success, that you might succeed and then more things will be expected of you. So the idea is to get past that, to avoid, a lot of people are avoiding taking action because of that fear of the failure or the fear of success. Hey, Brenda, thanks for joining. So, that stops people. The other thing is perfectionism. Perfectionism is a killer for businesses and so on. The idea is just to get it out now, get out the information as much as possible. And that's going to lead to your next steps. So so what, it's not perfect, it's going up today, you can perfect it tomorrow. And actually what a lot of people are doing on social media, which the perfectionists don't seem to understand, is that you put out a video today, but that video goes back into editing and will go back out in 2 or 3 weeks as another video when you figure out what was wrong with it. So you're watching the stats, you're watching the summaries of that video, you'll figure out what was wrong. You go back and change it. So you'll change your hook, you'll change your music, you'll change something in there, maybe the time of the video or whatever the case. So you're always constantly editing. So to perfect anything in the first little bit is kind of silly and a waste of time. Yeah, Vanessa, you're right. Everything does suck when you try to get it absolutely perfect. Because, by the way, perfect for you doesn't mean perfect for the next person. When I finished... just get started. You're right, Brenda. Just get started, right? When I was working on a project recently with my assistant, she's a perfectionist and I am not. So I wanted to get my project out instantly, like, let's do this. And she kept procrastinating. Her procrastination of trying to get it perfect actually caused that we didn't post. We didn't post the next day or the next day after that because she never got her work done. So it ended up posting the following week instead. And I had to quickly create something to put it up for her because she couldn't get it up because she wanted it to be so perfect. So actually her perfectionism caused stagnation within the company, and it didn't work out in the long run for her. So Vanessa is saying it's because growing up, I always was criticized about it. Yeah, you know what? Criticism throughout our youth affects us as adults. So oftentimes if you're told you're not good enough or you're going too slow or you're stupid, that tends to be your narration of you and what you believe about yourself for the rest of your life. So the idea is to go back and change that, right? So other, excuses that people are giving themselves are they're blaming external factors. So I have a friend who is 40 something years old, still lives with his mom and dad, never moved out, works a job he hates, and says he can't change his life. And so I keep sending him side hustles to do. Here's a side hustle. You could try it. Do it. Well, his excuse for never, ever, ever trying any of these side hustles is because, so many people failed at them. So what makes him think he will succeed? So he's not even trying to do anything to get himself out of his situation. He's giving himself excuses. He's making excuses. Other people failed. I'm not going to bother. A lot of people are doing it. Why should I do it then? It's overfilled already. There's too many people doing it. Do you know how many coaches there are out there? Life coaches, therapists, hypnotherapists, all of these things. There's tons of them out there. And, I'm but of one. But I'm not stopping what I'm doing because somebody out there is going to love my content and going to love me. And so that's why you can't use that as an excuse that there's hundreds of thousands out there. Yeah, there are, but they're not you. And so that's why you need to get out there to do it. And Vanessa, what do you mean? Please send you the list. Did I just talk about a list? Yeah, his story is hurting him. You guys are very much right. It is very much hurting him. He's preventing himself. Oh, the side hustle list. Yeah, sure. I'll send you some side hustles that you guys can do. Vanessa, I'll send some over to you as they come up on TikTok, and as I see them, I will send them to you because you know what? I'm seeing a whole pile of great side hustles out there to do. And all you got to do is start. Does it mean you're going to make money in the first 5 minutes? Frig, no, probably not. Most people don't. It's very few people that do. It's about repetition. It's about continuing and working at it and making money over time. So it may not happen this month, but in 6 months from now, yeah, you will be making money at it because you've now perfected it. You've gotten it right. So don't expect to make money off these side hustles day one, although most people do make a little bit in the first month. So the other thing is overwhelm. People are feeling overwhelmed, and so they just give up. And that's when you can't bite off, you can't make that issue smaller. So a lot of people, they see the big picture, but they can't break it down into smaller images. So they get overwhelmed by that big picture. The idea is to break it down, which we're going to talk about a little bit in this chat here about the Pomodoro effect, stuff like this, how to make that overwhelm easier. So basically what we're going to do today is help you shatter those excuses, break down that barrier so that it's no longer there, so that we stop making excuses to keep ourselves stuck. And yeah, starting, and that's what's important. You're exactly right, Vanessa. That's exactly what's important, to get started, because it's us who talk ourselves out of success. It's us who stop us from reaching our goals. And oftentimes you'll be working your ass off. You're like this far from the gold and people stop. And that's the crazy part, is you'll be working 2-3 months, hard, work your ass off, doing what you got to do. You're getting close to the goal and you quit. And all you had to do was push just that much further and you would have hit that gold mine and you would have had everything, but you gave up. And that's the problem, is people give up too soon because it gets too hard. You're not supposed to. So recognizing the destructive nature of these excuses is the first step towards shattering the barriers to success, clearly. So entrepreneurs must rewire their mindset to embrace that culture of accountability and persistence. Basically, you want to hold yourself accountable or get an accountability partner and be persistent with everything you do, because persistence is the name of the game. That's what's going to get you to the success, get you to the goal. So this involves developing profound understanding that the true progress is born in being consistent and deliberate in your actions, right? Take action, be deliberate, be consistent, do that daily, all the time, months on end, and eventually what you want will come to fruition because you're working at it. But you never get anything faster than you're ready for it. So if the universe doesn't think you're ready, it's because you still have lessons. And so it will wait to send you what you're asking for. But absolutely get out there, figure it out what you want, and start trying. Just start to try. The excuses aren't going to fly anymore because your excuses are keeping you stuck in this exact same spot today that you were last year and the year before that and the year before that. Nothing changes. And Vanessa is saying here, consistency is what helps me so I can get things done. Exactly. I also use calendars and all of these sorts of things to make sure I get things done. But consistency is the key. No matter how you feel, even if I'm sick on days, I am still consistent about posting. It may not get posted at 9 a.m. when I usually do, but it will get posted that morning. It will get done. I will be consistent. My work will always go out. That's important. So to embrace that growth-oriented mindset, it takes work. It takes work, and you have to cultivate it. So in order to change that framework of the perception you have on the challenges and setbacks, it's about realizing and understanding that not everything is insurmountable. In fact, everything you can tackle. So when we go into that mindset of, I can't, or it's you're overwhelmed, where that's bringing you is through those insurmountable obstacles, and you want to turn those instead into stepping stones, right? So that's what we're doing here. We're helping you to turn all of those insurmountable obstacles into like power, into your own power, right? So the way to do this is by turning this into learning opportunities. So instead of seeing a challenge as a roadblock, instead of seeing it as something that's stopping you in your tracks, look at it as a lesson, a chance to learn, to grow. So whatever that roadblock is, it's teaching you what tools you were missing to go forward. So it won't let you move forward because you're missing those tools. So go freaking learn the tools you need to learn. That's what it's teaching you. Go figure out why you're being stopped and learn what it is that you need, the next step to get to where you want to go. Everything's a learning opportunity. You either made a mistake and that's why you're being stopped, or you are not yet ready for the next step. That's why you're being stopped. So figure out what it is and then go forth. It's a challenge. Just look at it like a puzzle. You're looking for that next puzzle piece always. It's there. It's there. It's just about finding it, opening your eyes up and seeing it, to see it in its place. And you can do that. So practice at having that realization that, oh my gosh, I got stopped. It's not because life is trying to hurt me. It's because it's helping me. What is it trying to teach me right now? What are the lessons I'm trying to be taught here? What are the tools I'm trying to learn? What does it need me to know? And then grow from that. It's about analyzing the market that you're in. It's about refining your strategies. It's about being innovative and standing out with everything that you got going on. So emphasize effort and persistence. That's exceptionally important. So in the growth-oriented mindset world, the focus has to be shifted to your abilities, to your talents, to the effort, and to your persistence. Right? So understand that success comes from consistent work, consistent actions, right? So you have to be the one to push yourself to do that. If you can't, find yourself a partner or a coach or someone who's going to be there for you to help you to move that forward, because when you encounter those difficulties, you need to develop that persistent nature within yourself. And how do you do that best? Usually a coach. Usually a coach is the one to help you. Also hypnosis. Hypnosis is what did it for me. I was very inconsistent, but I used hypnosis, and hypnosis got me to be incredibly consistent. And I refined everything. And now I'm driven towards progress and success. So I'm always changing and moving forward. The other thing you want to do is start embracing failure as feedback. So when I told my assistant that I was not happy with her work for that day, that we needed to switch A, B, and C on the work, she took it personally because she said, well, you said yesterday this was good. Okay, well, yesterday it was good. Today it's not. Today I'm looking at it and I'm seeing everything that's missing now that we've got it in full order. And this is what we need to switch, A, B, and C. Well, she took that personally, got very offended and shouted at me. I don't understand that because she didn't fail. She just didn't fully do the work properly to what we needed. And we knew by the next day what needed to be changed. So that's what I needed her to do. It's about pivoting. It's about realizing that the feedback we're giving you is to help you grow. The feedback you're getting from your boss, from the people around you, unless it's a narcissist, the feedback you get 9 times out of 10 is usually to help you grow. So try not to get offended by it. Instead, take that as the lesson, the tool, and run with it. Move forward. Now, if you're in the grasp of a narcissist, this does not apply to them. Narcissists don't count. Narcissist feedback is meant to hurt you. It's meant to hinder you. It's meant to make sure that you are never better than that narcissist. So understand that, oftentimes if you feel that somebody's really negating you and treating you like garbage, assess who they are first. Understand it probably has nothing to do with you. You probably rock. Has everything to do with that person being a douchebag and a narcissist, and they're not meant to be in your circle, so just ignore whatever they're saying to you. But understand also that, feedback does not mean failure. Feedback is an opportunity to grow and learn. So take that feedback and grow and learn with it. And then you want to cultivate a passion of learning. And again, that's what I do. Like, I love to learn. It's kind of insatiable within me right now. It's a thirst that I have for learning. And that's what you kind of have to cultivate within yourself. If you have a hard time doing that, use hypnosis. Hypnosis helped me to get this way, to open up my brain so that all I want to do is learn and learn and learn and learn. To be fair, I've always been that girl who liked to learn, but now it's like almost an obsession where I view every single challenge, every roadblock, every opportunity as a new chance for me to grow, to learn something new. And I love it when somebody teaches me something new. And I thank them. Even if it's small, I thank them for teaching me that stuff. So always be out there, seek new knowledge, new skills, new experiences. It's important. And by the way, that is what's going to keep you alive longer. The second you stop learning, the second you stop growing, the second you think you're done, you're done. You've now signed your death certificate. So keep learning, keep growing. Your brain always wants to learn. Thank you, Vanessa. She says she understands now. I'm glad you understand. It's important that we keep this all in mind. And then you guys, shift your comparisons to inspiration. So comparisons breed excuses and self-doubt, right? So stop compare. I can't even freaking say the word. Stop comparing yourself. There we go. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Who cares what they did in 6 months, a month, 2 weeks? Who cares? That's not your plight. You have to understand that every person is on this planet and has a different time chart. So your time chart may not be the same as their time chart. And just because you're slower in life, like, okay, example, we have some people in this world who maybe became CEOs of a company by the time they were 20, but died at the time they were 50. Why? They lived that life of stress. They got everything done they needed to get done, and they were over by 50. Other people, stagnate, go through chaos. My life, go through chaos up until 30, 40 years old. And then suddenly that's when their business, their life takes off right then. And then they live to be 80 or 90 years old because they still have that end 40 years to work with all of that stuff that they learned and grew with. So your time chart is different than everyone else's time chart. Also, your knowledge, your skill set, your abilities are different. So don't knock yourself. Just go with your skills. Every single day you grow, as long as you're persistent and you don't give up. Okay, remember that. Every single day you grow. That's why we tell you every day, write down what you accomplished today. Write it down, because when you write down what you're grateful for and what you've accomplished every single day, you get to see how much you've accomplished, how much you've grown over the days, weeks, months, and years to come. So you never ever get that doubt anymore. You stop comparing yourself with others because you say, you know what? They may be there, but look what I've done. I've gotten all of this done. I succeeded with this. Now I just need to implement A, B, and C to get to that next step. You're very welcome, Vanessa. Remember, this is not about what your neighbor did. This is about how good you're doing. So the only comparison should be you compared to what you did yesterday. Did I accomplish more today than I did yesterday? Am I one step closer to my goal than I was yesterday? That's the only comparison that's acceptable ever. You are competing against yesterday's version of you. Just be better than that. That's all you have to be better than. And that takes a whole freaking load off, doesn't it? When you know that you only have to be better than you yesterday. How hard can that be? Because you rocked it yesterday, so you can rock it tomorrow, right? Do it. That's your ability. And you have the ability to develop resilience and adaptability. And that's incredibly important as an entrepreneur, to be resilient and adaptable, because guess what? We get knocked down a lot. And that's hard. And every entrepreneur needs to know that they need to stand up through all of this. They need to be able to be strong and be confident. And you have to know that this is your plight. This is where you can go, right? And so that's what we do. We get you there. So you have to develop that resilience, because setbacks are inevitable for everyone. But growth-oriented mindset fosters a reliance on adaptability. And so if you're able to pivot, everything changes. Your whole life changes. So you bounce back from those failures because you can pivot. You can change. You're resilient. You're adaptable. You find the answer because you know that maybe I didn't have the tools for this, but now I'm gaining the tools. I'll figure it out and I'm moving forward. And that's the beautiful part. Then you want to start embracing that feedback and constructive criticism. Because guess what? Rather than hearing it as criticism, like we were saying above, it's time to embrace that growth mindset and understand that feedback is a catalyst to improvement. So whether it's from your customer, your mentor, your team members, anybody, your partner, anybody, refine it. Take that feedback as an offering to grow and learn from it and implement new strategies in your future life. The next thing you want to do is visualize your long-term goals. Now, we do that every single morning when we are doing our meditations in the mornings. You sit and you visualize your long-term goals. Where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing? See it, feel it, believe it, taste it. Know it's yours. It becomes yours. That's how you start. That's how you begin manifestation, is by seeing it up here. Once you can see it up there, that's when you can go through every single day understanding and knowing that's you. That's you. You're just on your way there. So never say, I'm failing. I failed at this. No, I'm working hard to get this. I didn't fail at anything. I'm working hard. I'm almost there. It's around the corner. It's mine already, but I didn't fail. I'm on my way. I'm pivoting. I'm changing what I want because I didn't fail. And then you have to understand that you have to celebrate those small wins. Now listen, guys, because those challenges are all temporary. Once you get over them, once you pivot, once you see the setback as a learning lesson, and then you find out what the tool was you were meant to learn and you learn it, go and celebrate that. That's important. You did something good. Celebrate it. Tell your brain you did good. So your brain knows you want more of that, right? Celebrate the good stuff you did, right? Entrepreneurs recognize that progress is incremental, always incremental. By acknowledging even the minor achievements, they actually reinforce that positive behaviors and maintain momentum in your brain. And that's the whole goal. So start doing that. Start celebrating those small wins so that you can gain that momentum on yourself. Then you got to foster that can-do attitude. Again, I use hypnosis for that because before this, I was the negative Nelly who was, I can't do it, therefore you can't do it, nobody can do it, this sucks. That's who I was before. Now I've used hypnosis, everything's changed. Now I have that can-do attitude. I don't look at something as, I don't know it, I don't have it, I can't do it. No, I don't have it yet. I don't know it yet. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do it because I can do it. I can do everything I want to do. And I do it. There's always a way. You will find a way. If you want to do something, you always find a way. So if you're telling yourself often and over, I don't want this, then your brain is going to say, you don't want it. And it'll never give it to you, even if one day, just one time you say, yeah, I do want this day. No, because 100 other times you said no. So now it's time to retrain your brain to want it. So that's where you go with that can-do attitude. Believe that attitude drives action, and it does. And if you can't continue to maintain that forward-moving momentum, your life will change. It's when you become stagnant that things stop, that you go backwards. That's when you become comfortable, when you say, I'm comfortable the way things are, that means your life is going to shit very, very soon, because comfort means you are not growing, you are not learning, and you stopped that momentum. When you stop that momentum, your body says, oh, okay, is it time to die now? And that's when it starts to give up. It starts to stop trying. It starts to let go. And that's when everything bad starts to happen to your body, your mind, your soul, because you're allowing it in at that point, because you've told your brain, I'm good here. This is good enough. Good enough. Never be good enough. It's never good enough. Keep trying, keep doing better, keep learning more. The essence to mastering mindset is about rewiring your thought patterns to view the way you view challenges, the way you view setbacks, failures, through a more positive lens. You've got to see it through a more positive lens. So understand that you are embracing this as a growth chance, a chance to grow. You are embracing this as, a dynamic barrier to any excuse, because now you understand that you can and you do. And the only thing in your way is you and your excuses. So start moving forward from that. The other thing we want to make sure we start doing every single day, guys, is goal setting and planning. I know a lot of us fall short and they wonder why. I got actually a few clients coming in recently who told me they can't understand why their brain is going chaotic, why they're having so much more anxiety and depression since they retired, or since they quit their job, or their children left the house, or whatever. Usually those big life shifts is because you don't actually have a plan for what comes after. If you don't have a goal set in your mind for what you want to do in the next days, months, weeks, years, your brain will go willy-nilly. It goes crazy. It starts to just grab onto stuff everywhere, and it tries to set into rhythm, but it won't. It won't be able to. And that's why these anxieties and depression, because you don't have a goal. You got to set a goal for your roadmap, because you guys, success is often navigated by those who possess a clear sense of direction. So as long as you know where you don't have to know how to get there. You just have to know where you want to go. Have a goal, right? So, okay, so you've got more time on your hands. Find a goal for that time. What do I want to achieve this year? What are my goals for this year? What do I want to achieve? Okay, so that's what I'm going to start setting my mind to accomplish. Figure it out. Always set yourself a yearly goal to accomplish. Always. I know they say to not do that at the beginning of the year. Yeah, don't do that at the beginning of the year. Just do it. Just do it, because always have a goal for your brain to reach, right? Once I hit the plateau of where I'm heading for this business, I have another goal set that I'm going to hit on the next plateau, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, until I get way up to where I want to go. But I'm not looking at it as I have to be up here right now today. I'm looking at it as I have to get to this plateau right now. Once I get to this plateau, then I have to set more goals to get to this plateau here. And I know my ultimate goal is here, but I still have to set the plateau here, because if I try to go here, I'm going to get overwhelmed. So I got to do it inch by inch, day by day, increment by increment. But you set goals. You set goals as to how to reach that. So, what do I need to do to be able to reach this goal? I need to fix A, B, and C. Okay, that's what I'm going to be working on this month, is A, B, and C, so that I can make that goal. So that those A, B, and C become your new goals. How do I make these happen, right? Break it down. Fundamental steps not only serve as a roadmap to progress, but also leave little room for excuses. And then they're not allowed to take root. Because if you don't allow excuses in, if you've already got that goal set, if you're starting to use calendars, if you're starting to, plan things, write it down. You can't use excuses, because now you know this is what I have to do. This is my goal. This is where it has to go. So that's when you delve into restructuring your mindset so that you become empowered and that you can transcend those excuses. And, well, you realize your vision in that case. So then you want to start clearing obstacles. That becomes the hardest part of all, clearing those obstacles out of the way, because you guys, when we have clear objectives, the obstacles float away, right? So goal setting involves defining specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound objectives. They call that SMART. So the objectives serve as a beacon that guides those entrepreneurs towards their desired outcome, right? So a growth-orientated person knows precisely that what they're aiming to achieve and by when they want it done. So rather than saying, I want to increase my sales, you set your SMART goal. I want to increase my monthly sales by 20% within the next 6 months. You've given yourself a real goal now. You understand? You're defining it down. Go into detail. We do that with our clients too when we're talking about, you're going out to look for your ideal avatar, your ideal client. You have to narrow it down to exactly what you're looking for and what you're able to do. So when we say you have to put your call to action out, what you are capable of doing, if you'll notice, a lot of the new coaches that come out, they all start with, I plan to change 3 people's lives this month using A, B, and C. That's what they're doing. They are planning. They are using clear objectives to help them get there. And that helps you get past those objections in the end, because now you've used SMART to set your goals. You know exactly where you've got to go. You've gone down to the details of what you need and you start doing it. Now the next thing is fueling that motivation. That's the hard part. Finding focus. Okay. Again, I used rapid transformational therapy for that, for me, because I had no focus at all, zero motivation to do anything, because I didn't think I was worth it. So if you don't think you're worth it, you are not motivated to work hard for yourself, are you? So I had to use rapid transformational therapy to help me get motivated and focused. But what it did is it changed everything for me. And now I'm incredibly motivated. I'm always working. And, it helps to keep you with a clear goal in mind. It offers tangible endpoints to strive for. It ignites your spirit. So it can act as a reminder to the bigger picture, or it can be the fuel that you need to keep you going forward. But either way, you got to change your mindset. So if you can't do it on your own through meditation is a great way to change mindset, to start fueling and getting your focused motivation. Do meditation every single morning, or do RTT therapy, hypnosis. That's going to help you. If you do self-hypnosis as well, that's going to help you to become more motivated. Now, we do tell you about a bunch of different techniques you can use to help fuel that motivation and to keep it going. But again, you kind of have to be motivated to sort of do that. You have to believe that you're worth it. So if you don't believe you are worth it, that's where you got to start. You have to change that. Change your self-worth, and your motivation and focus will change too. Okay, so start there. Start with seeing someone like me to help you change that belief system within yourself, or start meditating. Learn meditation, and that will help you to bring up that self-belief. Then you got to break down the journey. What do I mean by that? Well, okay, guys, goals provide a destination. Planning creates the roadmap. Well, a well-structured plan involves breaking down the larger goal into smaller, more manageable steps. Remember, I was talking about that earlier, that I have a goal for my company up here, but I'm only trying to reach here right now, step by step. Remember I said that? There's a reason for that. This not only prevents overwhelm, but it helps to clarify the path forward, because you can see everything. When you break it down, you can start to see each and every step that needs to be taken, and you can break it down. That's what you want to do. You want to start breaking things down so you can get rid of those excuses. Once you start putting all of this into place, excuses just fall away. They're not there anymore. right? So when you get to see that the journey laid out is achievable in steps, it becomes easier. You become more motivated. It's less intimidating. And you replace that sense of fear and overwhelm with a sense of direction and a motivation to get there. So start doing that. It's called the Pomodoro effect. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. It's coming up. Start doing that. You got to break down your time slots into something a little more manageable. So it's understanding that it's a journey. It's not a trip, guys. It's an entire journey. You got to go through a bunch of stops and turns and curls to get there. This is a journey, okay? And then, establish actionable steps. So along this journey, along this path, planning is more than just listing the tasks, okay? It's about actually creating actionable steps to accomplish those tasks so that you bridge the gap between yourself and where you want to be, right? Each step should be specific. They should be actionable. They should be aligned with the overarching goal. So make sure that the goal up here aligns with the goal you're setting right here. It has to hit up there. So align it. Each step should be very, very, very specific. So make sure you're specific. The path is illuminated, leaving little space for you to hinder that process and little space for excuses to hinder the process. If you're setting out each task, you're writing down how to get there. Once you do that, step by step, once you figure out each step that needs to be taken and you start to take those steps, there's very little room for excuses and movement because you know exactly what needs to be done. So figure it out. And then diffusing excuses with accountability. Guys, that means you gotta be accountable for your bullshit. I hate to break it to you, but a well-structured plan is not just personal commitment, not at all. It's also a tool for accountability, and entrepreneurs can actually share their plans with mentors, with peers, with accountability partners to keep them accountable. But ultimately, you are accountable for your steps forward. You are accountable for your motivation. So by sharing this with other people, they actually can help you to become and maintain that motivation that you need. So do get that partner who can help you to move ahead. Because you know what? When entrepreneurs know that others are aware of their intended path, excuses become harder to give. They become harder to sideline. They become harder to use because now you have to start honoring your commitment. You have to. What you say needs to be honored. So speak out what you want to somebody else. Tell them your goal. Do not tell a lot of people your goals because a lot of people will shit on your parade. So don't tell a lot of people, but tell a few people your goals. The ones that you know will be your cheerleaders, maybe just a coach. Tell somebody your goal. And then they can hold you accountable and help you be accountable to get there. But ultimately, it's you. You are the one who holds yourself accountable. And that's why we say at the end of every single day, write down what you've achieved today. That helps you to be accountable for achieving stuff. Write down what you're grateful for and write down what you're going to do tomorrow, what you're going to achieve tomorrow. And then go ahead and do that. You got to change your reality. You got to plan so that for unforeseen circumstances, because guess what? Plans often F up. They have to get adjusted because of these circumstances, but growth-oriented people see these changes as changes. They're not excuses to deviate from the path because sometimes people will do that. Oh, it's rained today. I guess I shouldn't work at all. Huh? What does that have to do with your job? Absolutely nothing, but you're using it as an excuse. You understand what I'm saying? Stop using excuses. Stop deviating from your path and use it as an opportunity to adapt and to optimize. So if today you can't do ABC, go find D, E, and F to go do. That's what you're going to have to do. Deviate. Figure it out. But become adaptable to changing realities because everything is constantly changing, right? And you can't be stuck on something because that's how you kind of end things. That's how you become unmotivated and overwhelmed is when you get stuck on an idea going a certain way. So understand, you know where you want to be. You don't yet know how to get there. So just know that the journey to here might be winded. Just understand that you have to pivot, and that's okay to pivot. You are not failing, you are pivoting, you are growing, you are learning, and you are using these setbacks as your detour, but they're not a roadblock. They're just a detour to help figure out what you need to get in order to become that best version of you. So then you want to measure your progress and celebrate those wins. Remember we talked about celebrating everything? That's what you want to do. You got to celebrate everything. It's important to celebrate your wins so that your brain knows that you're doing something good, okay? Now, don't spend a lot of money and do huge celebrations, but always give yourself a pat on the back for doing what's right. A clear plan ripples through decision-making processes. When confronted with choices, with whatever, you can access them again and use a plan. So if you have that plan aligned already, those decisions will propel you towards the goal because the plan is there. So that's what you want to do. You want to do that. Go and set those goals as your prioritizations and start acting on them. This approach will ensure that the excuses hold no sway over any decision-making matters anymore. Those excuses will just start to float away because you know that they're excuses. You can't use them anymore. You have all the actionable steps that you're supposed to do right in front of you. So go ahead and do that. Take the steps for your own future. Goal setting and planning form a backbone to you, the entrepreneur, right? And so a well-defined goal coupled with a structured plan actually creates a path that excels at squelching any kind of excuse. It goes away. And that's how you do it. Actionable steps. Plan your life. So I never used to use a calendar, and I still don't wear a watch, and that's one thing I don't do. But now I am constantly using my calendar. I'm scheduled day from the second I wake up to the end of the day. Everything is scheduled in, right down to what time I walk my dogs, what time I eat. Everything is scheduled. Yeah, can things get moved around? Abso-freaking-lutely, things can get moved around, but I'm scheduled. And that schedule helped me to stay on track. It helped my brain to understand what my goals were, what I wanted to get done. Now I do them. Did it take me a few minutes to get into this? Yes. Yes, it did. It took a while. It took about a week after this hypnosis for me to become more serious about my goal setting. But I did it. And now you will not find me without a goal. I will always have goals for today. For each plan of today, there's a goal set for each and every individual action to each plan. I'm a goal-oriented woman now, guys, because that's what this is about. Again, you're getting those accountability partners. You're using fear as your catalyst. Did you know that a lot of fear, don't use that as a deterrent, because fear is actually the thing that's telling you there's something freaking fantastic on the other side. But you need to push past this fear to get it. Now, I'm not talking about murder type fear, guys. I'm not talking about, you're walking down a back alley and you hear steps behind you. Now you feel fear. That's real fear. I'm not talking about that kind of fear. Okay. No. I'm talking about the fear of, to go for that job you've always wanted, or the fear to ask that guy or girl out on a date, or the fear of, taking the step to get educated. I remember when I wanted to learn, when I was sick and I wanted to get a job and I didn't know what to do, and I was learning about hypnosis at that time, and I thought, maybe I should become a therapist, rapid transformational therapist and hypnotist. Is this the right thing for me? I had so much fear. I asked every person I know, and you know what? 70% of them told me, no, don't do it. That's stupid, don't do it. But 30% said, you know what, that might be a good idea. But the point was that I had fear, and I almost let that fear overcome me. Now, because I didn't let fear be my catalyst, look at me now. I jumped towards it. I did it anyways. And now I'm thriving. Now I run this amazing company, and I'm helping hundreds and hundreds of people around the world, and things are going amazingly well. So start to do that. Do not let fear get in your way, because fear is a signal that task or the project ahead, it holds substantial importance. So that means you need to make it an opportunity to embrace rather than one to avoid. Okay, so jump towards that fear. It's important. The fear is just the you of today, that you that doesn't believe you are enough, that's what that fear is. It's the I'm not enough that's trying to stay alive. Don't let it stay alive. Let it go. Let go of that fear. It's time to go. So the other thing you got to do, guys, is micro progress or momentum. Remember we were talking earlier about breaking your goals down from big, large ones into smaller, manageable tasks? That's the Pomodoro effect. That's what we're going to talk about right now. Because this technique, it was developed back in the 80s, okay? But it was named after the Italian word for tomato, by the way, in case you didn't know. Okay, so this technique is about choosing a task. So you choose the task at hand. For example, we'll put, content management. That's your task today. Now you set a timer for that content management. I'm going to set myself 1 hour timer, and I'm only going to work for 1 hour. Usually for the Pomodoro effect, we set 25-minute timers, so 25-minute intervals that you work on that specific task. You do that. I tend to do an hour long because I like to concentrate for a little bit longer, but you could do 25 minutes is usually best to break it down. Okay, so you set your timer to work. So during this time, you work on the chosen task, and you give it your full concentration. You're giving it your all. You're doing it all without interruptions. You just go gung-ho in for those 25 minutes. So you work. You work so hard because you're focused. When that timer goes off, you stop. You stop what you're doing. You get up. You go do something else. You go and you take a short break. You go, I know for me, I'll walk my dogs or play with the dogs. I'll do a dance routine in my living room. I'll go and make myself a lunch. I take a quick break. Go pee-pee, go do whatever. Just take a break for you, and then rinse and repeat. Do it all over again. Do that 25 minutes, 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break. That's what you do throughout your whole day. You will find that you get tasks done easier. You do that 4 times, basically. You want to do 4 work intervals for yourself, and then you start to take longer breaks, 15 to 30-minute breaks, but you're taking longer in between the 25 minutes. So I do an hour with 20-minute breaks in between. That's what I do. You could choose. They want 25 minutes for 5-minute breaks for the Pomodoro effect. Whichever is best for you, that's what you choose. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Cigar. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me. So guys, that's what you want to do. You want to rinse and repeat this Pomodoro effect. The idea with this is it's effective for several reasons. First of all, for time constraint. The short duration of the Pomodoro creates a sense of urgency in your brain, and it encourages you to stay on task and to maintain that focus. That's why you want to break it down into small little 25-minute tasks instead of 3 days to get this job done. No, today we're going to do this, this, and this. That's our goals. It's going to reduce the procrastination because you know that you have the defined work time to do it in. So you're not going to procrastinate. You only got 25 minutes to do it in. Let's do it in these 25 minutes. Let's get it done. Now, again, somebody with anxiety will have a very difficult time doing this. I know my staff member, she had a very difficult time in the beginning because of her anxiety. When I would say you got 25 minutes, she's like, but nothing. You got 25 minutes. Get her done. What you get done in those 25 minutes is what you got done. That's what we're talking about. But she's also a perfectionist, and so there's a lot going on there. But you have to get that all under control. You're going to reduce your procrastination. You're going to reduce burnout if you work it down to 25-minute intervals or whatever works for you, whatever you've worked up to. But make it small intervals with a break, small intervals and a break. That's the most important. It's going to help to prevent that burnout because you're avoiding that mental fatigue by taking that break every 25, 30 minutes, right? That's what you're avoiding. It's going to enhance your concentration as well because your brain knows, oh my gosh, I have 25 minutes to focus. So it goes whoop, and it'll start to focus in on what it needs to focus in on because now that's what you're training your brain to do that. And the more you train your brain to do this, the easier it becomes for you. So start to do that. You do task management as well, right? So breaking your work into manageable intervals actually makes the tasks feel less overwhelming and they're more bearable and you can do them all. And you'll find before you know it, you're on top of everything. You're getting things done ahead of schedule, in fact, because the Pomodoro effect actually helps you to concentrate so well, so quickly that you don't make mistakes the way you would if you're pushing hard, pushing your candle to the limit. That's when you start to make a lot of mistakes, and then you have to go back and spend hours correcting your mistakes. Well, with the Pomodoro effect, you'd make less mistakes because you're more concentrated. You're in there. You're not having that burnout. So your mind understands what needs to be done, and it gets it done. So this actually saves you a lot of time. And these tools will help you to keep track of your work. It helps you to break intervals down and make everything endurable. And it makes the cycle so much easier for you. So start to do that so you have less excuses. You have less reasons to make up excuses because it's not as hard anymore. Nothing is as hard. So guys, at the end of the day, all this optimizing of time, this productivity, this maintaining healthy work-life balance, emphasizing on focus, all of this stuff is freaking hard. If you suffer from anxiety, depression, PTSD, any of that stuff, it's hard. We understand that it's hard for even the average individual person, never mind anybody who's suffering a little bit of something, right? So for entrepreneurs to break free from the clutches of those excuses, it requires some of them to go a little bit deeper. And that deeper level of intervention means coming to see someone like me, a rapid transformational therapist. The reason why people want to do that is because they need to get to the root cause of their thought patterns, their habits, their behaviors. They need to get to the root cause because it's not going to go away by itself. It doesn't. It just goes away for a few minutes and it'll come back because you didn't get to the root cause. You didn't change anything. So really, when you go to people who are doing mindset work and they're not getting to your root cause, they're just, implementing pretty words into your ears like a hypnotist will do. Hypnotists often do that. They say they can change your whole life, but often they don't. Why? Because they can change 5 minutes, they could change your mindset for a little while, but your brain is structured to whatever you structured it to. So whatever you've trained it to be is what it is. And so whatever that hypnotist is coming in to tell it, it'll only change it for a little while until your brain goes, oh, by the way, I'm this, I am not this. And so your brain will take over again and be that. With rapid transformational therapy, we change that. We don't allow your brain to do that because we're going back to the root cause. We're ripping that freaking root cause issue out. So it can't bother you anymore. So we figured out what the problem is. We've reframed it. We've changed it. We've transformed it for you so that it no longer affects you ever. And that's why rapid transformation therapy is different than hypnotism. It's different than going to a regular therapist for therapy. It's different than anything else. I mean, we're using cognitive behavioral therapy, neurolinguistic programming, psychotherapy, and hypnotherapy combined. There is no one else on the planet, no other therapy or therapeutic person who can say that they do all of that. We do. Every rapid transformational therapist on this planet does do all of that with their clients. It's all encompassing. We change everything for you because once you understand the rooted belief, then it's easy to start to change it. And then your beliefs start to take shape and action towards your goals because now you've gotten rid of whatever was stopping you. So RTT employs a combination of hypnosis, like we said, and with all of those other programs, with the hypnosis, with the psychotherapy, the neurolinguistic, we're using all of that. And it actually, in a matter of one session, it empowers you to rewire your subconscious mind. And it eliminates all of those excuses that have held you back. One session. Now that being said, our one session is 3 hours long. It's not like anyone else. And that's why when they say to me, when I hear other therapists saying to me, well, I see mine for one session, nothing works. That's because you're only seeing them for an hour. You're maybe talking to them for the first 30 minutes about whatever's going on. And then the last 30 minutes is going to implant some new thought into their mind, but you're not doing any of the root work. You're not changing anything. You're just adding some flowers. You're adding. So it's like getting a really gross old house with bad plumbing, mold in the walls and everything like that, putting new paint job on and saying, hey, we've got ourselves a brand new home. No, you freaking don't. You still have a moldy home. You still have a moldy home. You got to get rid of the mold. That's what RTT does. It gets rid of the mold. It's the one that goes in there and clears everything out for you so you can move forward. Other therapies, other hypnosis, they don't do that. They might. They do it slowly. Some of them will do it slowly over time, but they're not doing it as fast as we do it. We do it in the first 3 hours. Now, it takes a full month for that 3 hours to take shape because your brain's going to drag you backwards. But that's why you work with me the whole time over that month so that I make sure that that comfort brain of yours doesn't win. The new you wins. The new you takes over. That's what we do. That's why we work together as a team. That's why we're pushing you forward all of the time. So this is about embracing a journey of no more excuses. That's what this does for you. The journey itself is about the growth. It's about innovation. It's about achievement. And yes, you can have it too. That's what we're doing for you. We're cultivating that growth mindset. We're setting up clear goals within your mind, and it's not going to impede anything anymore. Nothing gets held back. You go towards your goals, towards your success, and that's it. That's all. I literally had a client come in this week who, before her first session, I hope this works. I don't think it's going to work. We'll see about this. After her first session, the very next day, she was incredibly excited to see me again, to talk about the changes, to do her next session, to see what was going to change and grow with her. So guys, it doesn't matter if you don't believe in this coming in. What matters is that you're willing to give it a shot. And that's all you need. Give it a try. And I promise you, your life's going to change, because there's not one person that's been with me so far whose life has not changed. Everyone. And I've worked with over 300 people now, and all of them have had life-changing events. Even those who say it failed, their lives still pivoted, just not fully the way they wanted it. But there are 3 people out of my hundreds right now, only 3, that have not reached their full potential. And I'm still working with them, because that's our guarantee, that we still work with you until you find your full potential. But 3 out of over 300, I think I'm doing damn good, you guys. Damn good on helping people to find and achieve those goals. So if that's what you're looking to do, if you need help to stop those excuses going on in your mind, if you need help to get over anxiety, depression, PTSD, anything like that, you call on me. That's what we're doing here. And that's it for today, guys. I appreciate everybody coming to today's call. You are loved. I'm sending you all hugs. And if you need help, don't be afraid. Reach out. We're here for you. We've got several different plans of action for you, and it's different for everybody. So don't expect me to be like, well, geez, we've got one plan and this is it for you. Frig no. You're all different. I got different plans for each and every one of you. So come here for an individualized program, and let's change your life. Put a comment below, say it's all for me, or I need change, anything like that. And I will contact you ASAP, and we'll see what we can do to start changing your life. All right, guys, see y'all soon.